6 reasons the UK could not rejoin the EU, and my response. I've heard many reasons why the UK could not rejoin the EU. Summing it up, they seem to come under 6 headings. The people of the UK wouldn't support it, the politicians wouldn't support it, the EU wouldn't have us back, existing trade deals would prevent rejoining the EU, the deal that we get from the EU might not be acceptable, and there wouldn't be any benefit to rejoining. Let me respond to each of those. Number 1, the people wouldn't support it. Well, actually, they already do in increasing numbers. And an earlier video I made pointed out that because there are no Brexit benefits coming, then the support for Brexit is only likely to reduce further. Number 2, the politicians wouldn't support it. This is a temporary thing. If the politicians feel that there aren't votes in it, they won't support it. If there starts to be a strong majority in favour of rejoining, then the politicians will support it. This country is not run simply by politicians with no regard for the people of the country. Number 3, the EU wouldn't support it. The EU wouldn't have us back. People who argue this tend to, in my experience, make a couple of assumptions. Assumption number 1 is that the application is by the current Tory government, Boris Johnson as was, or Liz Truss. And assumption number 2 is that the decision by the EU would be made on emotional grounds. Oh, we're so fed up with the UK, there's no way that we want them back. Both assumptions are false. The application to rejoin would not be made by the current Tory government. So we're talking about a different government, a different political climate. And the EU would make any such decision on a pragmatic basis. Incidentally, it would be absolutely wonderful from the EU's point of view for the UK to rejoin. What wonderful PR that the country that chose to leave saw what life was like outside and decided to rejoin. So there's a lot positive in it for both parties. Argument number 4, existing trade deals. This is a non-argument because if that prevented countries joining the EU, then no country would ever join the EU. We had plenty of existing trade deals when we joined the EEC in 1973. No government can tie the hands of a future government and prevent them making future trade deals. Number 5, what sort of a deal would we get? And, you know, this is a valid point and it's one that would be up for discussion, but I do not expect that the UK and the EU, looking at all the other factors, would say, well, both parties really want the UK to rejoin the EU again, but looking at the rules and the situation in the UK, it's just not possible. Agreement would be reached. That's my view. You can take a different view, but there's plenty of water to flow under the bridge until that point, and there would be plenty of political goodwill, the other factors having been dealt with. And point number 6, there would be no benefit. This one is easy to deal with. The government's own budget watchdog, the Office of Budget Responsibility, has consistently estimated in advance, and then as matters have played out, estimated the negative impact of leaving the EU to be about 4% of GDP. It wouldn't be immediate, but one can expect the long-term benefit of rejoining the EU to be, amongst many other positive benefits, that 4% uplift in GDP, which equates to about £100 billion. And that means that there's about £30 billion of additional tax revenue every year that would flow from membership. So I have looked at what appear to be all the main arguments that say that the UK could not rejoin the EU, responded to each of them. We do deal with the debacle of Brexit, amongst other challenges for the Tory government that we've had, in the book that Augusta Lees and I have written, It's My Party and I'll Lie If I Want To. and right here is a barcode, a QR code that you can scan that will take you straight to Amazon where you can buy the book. Hope that's helpful. Nice to talk to you. Do add your comments in the video. Thank you.